After spending years in surgical clinics and operation theaters worldwide, I've had the privilege of working alongside some of the brightest orthopedic surgeons and geriatric specialists who are conducting groundbreaking research on muscle weakness in seniors. I've personally spoken with hundreds of doctors across different continents, reviewed countless case studies, and gathered feedback from thousands of elderly patients who struggled with weak, painful legs. And what I'm about to share with you today is the result of all that collective medical wisdom. I'm going to reveal the number one dry fruit that these expert surgeons are quietly recommending to their own aging parents for stronger legs. And I guarantee it's not what you're expecting. But before we get to that, you need to understand what's really happening inside your leg muscles right now, because this isn't just normal aging. It's a reversible condition called sarcopenia, and nutrition is 60% of the solution. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which four dry fruits to eat, how much, when to eat them, and the one mistake that cancels out all the benefits. Let's get into it. Here's what most seniors don't realize. After age 40, you lose between 3% to 8% of your muscle mass every single decade. That means by the time you're 70, you could have lost up to a quarter of the muscle you had in your prime. Your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your calf muscles, they're literally shrinking. This condition affects nearly 50% of adults over 80, and it's not just about looking weaker. When your leg muscles deteriorate, your risk of falls skyrockets. 1 in 4 seniors falls each year, and 75% experience significant muscle weakness by age 75. Falls lead to fractures, fractures lead to hospitalization, and for many seniors, that's the beginning of a downward spiral they never recover from. But here's the truth that the medical establishment is finally catching up to. Sarcopenia isn't inevitable. Recent research shows that diet can actually reverse muscle loss, and certain dry fruits contain a concentrated punch of exactly what your muscles are desperately craving. Your muscles need 3 critical things to stay strong, and most seniors are deficient in at least 2 of them. First, protein. You need about 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of your body weight daily. That's roughly 25 to 30 grams with every meal if you weigh around 150 pounds. But studies show most seniors get 40% less protein than they actually need. Why? Because as we age, our appetite decreases, our sense of taste dulls, and frankly, cooking protein-rich meals becomes exhausting when you're living alone or dealing with dental issues. Second, minerals. Your muscles can't contract properly without magnesium, potassium, and calcium. Magnesium prevents those brutal nighttime leg cramps. Potassium regulates muscle contractions and prevents fatigue. Calcium isn't just for bones, it's essential for the signals that tell your muscles when to fire and when to relax. And third, healthy fats. Omega-3 fatty acids reduce the inflammation that makes your legs feel stiff and sore after walking. They also protect the nerve pathways that control muscle movement. Now here's where dry fruits become absolute game changers for seniors with weak legs. Unlike fresh fruits, the drying process concentrates nutrients into a small, easy-to-eat package. You don't need teeth to chew them if you soak them overnight. You don't need to refrigerate them. They last for months. And gram for gram, they pack more protein, minerals, and healthy fats than almost any other plant-based food. But not all dry fruits are created equal for leg strength. I'm going to count down the top 4, starting from number 4 and working up to the absolute king, the number 1 dry fruit that combines all 3 essential nutrients in a way that specifically targets leg muscle weakness. Dry fruit 4, dates. Starting at number 4, we have dates. These natural energy bombs are what I call the carbohydrate powerhouse for seniors with weak legs. Now, before you click away thinking dates are just sugar, hear me out. A single medjool date contains about 66 calories. And while yes, most of that is natural sugar, it also packs 7 grams of protein per 100 grams. More importantly, dates are loaded with magnesium. 3 dates give you roughly 13% of your daily magnesium needs, and magnesium is the mineral that prevents those excruciating leg cramps that wake you up at 2 a.m. Here's how magnesium works. When your magnesium levels are low, your muscle cells become hyperexcitable. They contract too easily and don't relax properly. That's why deficiency causes cramping, twitching, and that restless leg feeling. Magnesium supports over 300 enzyme reactions in your body many of which are directly involved in muscle protein synthesis. It also helps convert food into usable energy, which is why when you're magnesium deficient, your legs feel heavy and fatigued even after minimal activity. But dates aren't perfect for everyone. If you're diabetic or watching your blood sugar, you need to be careful because dates have a high glycemic index. They can spike your blood sugar quickly. The trick is to eat them strategically. Never eat dates alone on an empty stomach. Always pair them with a handful of nuts, which contain protein and healthy fats that slow down sugar absorption. The best time to eat dates? Mid-morning, about 10 or 11 a.m., when your cortisol levels are stable and your body can handle the natural sugars without a crash. Limit yourself to 2 to 3 dates daily, and if possible, soak them overnight in water. Soaking makes them easier to digest and reduces the sugar concentration slightly. Now, dates are powerful, but they're missing something crucial that the top 3 dry fruits have. They don't have enough protein to actually build new muscle tissue. They're an energy source and a mineral booster, but to reverse sarcopenia, you need more than that. You need the building blocks of muscle itself, which brings us to number 3. Dry fruit 3, walnuts. At number 3, we have walnuts, and these are what I call the inflammation fighter for leg muscles. If you've ever felt that stiffness in your calves or thighs after a short walk, if your legs ache hours after standing or climbing stairs, you're experiencing post-exercise inflammation, and walnuts are specifically engineered by nature to combat this. Here's what makes walnuts special. They contain more omega-3 fatty acids than any other nut. A single ounce of walnuts, about 7 whole walnuts, gives you 2.5 grams of alpha-linolenic acid, or ALA, which is a plant-based omega-3. Research shows that seniors who eat walnuts daily reduce post-exercise inflammation by up to 30%. Why does this matter? Because inflammation isn't just soreness. Chronic inflammation actually accelerates muscle breakdown. It triggers a process where your body starts cannibalizing muscle tissue for energy instead of preserving it. Omega-3s calm this inflammatory response, allowing your muscles to recover faster and stay stronger. But walnuts don't stop there. They contain 15 grams of protein per 100 grams, plus copper and magnesium, which are essential for nerve-muscle communication. Your brain sends electrical signals down your nerves to tell your muscles when to contract. If you're deficient in copper, those signals get garbled, leading to weakness, shakiness, and poor coordination. Walnuts fix that. Now here's the secret that most people don't know about walnuts. You should never eat them raw straight from the package. Walnuts contain enzyme inhibitors, natural compounds that the walnut uses to preserve itself. These inhibitors block your digestive enzymes, meaning you absorb maybe 60% of the nutrients at best. The solution? Soak 2 to 3 walnuts in water overnight, at least 8 hours. In the morning, drain the water and eat them. Soaking removes those enzyme inhibitors and makes the nutrients up to 40% more bioavailable. It also makes them easier on your stomach if you have sensitive digestion, which many seniors do. The best time to eat walnuts is first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, right after you wake up. Why? Because your body has been fasting all night and it's primed to absorb nutrients. The omega-3s and protein in walnuts will kickstart muscle protein synthesis for the entire day. But walnuts have one weakness. They can't do what the number 1 dry fruit does for bone density. And your bones matter just as much as your muscles, because weak bones mean unstable muscles. If your skeleton can't support weight properly, your muscles compensate by working overtime, which leads to fatigue and weakness. That's why number 2 is so critical. Dry fruit 2, almonds. Coming in at number 2, we have almonds, the protein powerhouse that every senior with weak legs needs to eat daily. Almonds contain 21 grams of protein per 100 grams. That's more than any other nut or dried fruit. A single handful, about 6 to 8 almonds, gives you 6 grams of protein. That's roughly equivalent to eating a small egg. And protein is absolutely non-negotiable for stopping muscle loss. Here's the science. After age 60, you develop something called anabolic resistance. Your muscles become less responsive to protein. Where a young person might build muscle from 15 grams of protein, a senior needs 25 to 30 grams per meal to get the same effect. This is why the general protein recommendation of 0.8 grams per kilogram isn't enough for seniors. You need at least 1.2 grams per kilogram, and almonds make it incredibly easy to hit that target without having to cook elaborate meals. But what separates almonds from other protein sources is their amino acid profile. Almonds contain all 9 essential amino acids that your body cannot produce on its own. These amino acids are the literal building blocks your muscle fibers use to rebuild every single night while you sleep. Particularly important is leucine, an amino acid that acts like a trigger for muscle protein synthesis. Studies show that seniors need about 2.5 to 2.8 grams of leucine per day to maintain muscle mass, and almonds are one of the richest plant sources. Now, almonds aren't just protein, they're also mineral dense. 1 ounce gives you 32 milligrams of magnesium, which, as we discussed, prevents cramps. They contain calcium, which supports muscle contraction, and vitamin E, an antioxidant that protects muscle cells from oxidative damage during movement. When you exercise or even just walk, your muscles produce free radicals, unstable molecules that attack cell membranes. Vitamin E neutralizes these free radicals, reducing the microscopic damage that leads to weakness over time. The medical recommendation is 6 to 8 soaked almonds daily, and soaking is critical. Almond skin contains tannins, compounds that block nutrient absorption. If you eat almonds with the skin on, you're only absorbing a fraction of the minerals. Soak them overnight, then peel the skin in the morning. It'll slide right off. Some seniors also find that soaked almonds are easier to chew, which matters if you have dental issues or dentures. The best time to eat almonds is mid-afternoon, around 3 or 4 p.m. Why? Because this is when your cortisol naturally dips, and you're most likely to feel that energy slump. The protein and healthy fats in almonds provide sustained energy without spiking your blood sugar. You'll notice you don't feel as tired in the evening, and you'll have more strength for walking or light exercise. Almonds are incredible, but they're missing the one mineral that makes the #1 dry fruit the absolute king for leg strength. This mineral does something no other nutrient can do. It simultaneously addresses muscle fatigue, bone weakness, and poor circulation, the 3 biggest factors in senior leg weakness. And when you combine it with the other nutrients in this particular dry fruit, the effect is almost synergistic. Dry fruit 1, dried apricots. The #1 dry fruit for weak legs in seniors is dried apricots. I know what you're thinking. Apricots? Really? Yes, really. And here's why doctors who specialize in geriatric medicine are quietly recommending these to their own aging parents. Dried apricots are the potassium king. 100 grams of dried apricots, which is about 8 to 10 pieces, contains 160 milligrams of potassium. That's more than bananas, more than spinach, more than almost any other food you can name. And potassium is the mineral that directly regulates muscle contraction and prevents fatigue. When your potassium levels are low, your muscle cells can't maintain proper electrical charge. Muscle contractions become weak and uncoordinated. You feel tired even when you're rested. Your legs feel heavy. You might even experience heart palpitations because your heart muscle is affected too. Here's how potassium works in your leg muscles. Every time your brain sends a signal for your leg muscle to contract, potassium and sodium ions flow in and out of muscle cells, creating an electrical charge that triggers contraction. If you're potassium deficient, this process malfunctions. Your muscles can't contract fully and they fatigue quickly. This is why leg weakness and cramping are 2 of the earliest signs of low potassium. Seniors are especially prone to deficiency because many common medications, diuretics for blood pressure, statins for cholesterol, can deplete potassium levels. But dried apricots don't stop at potassium. They're also rich in iron, containing 2.66 milligrams per 100 gram serving, which is about 15% of your daily needs. Iron carries oxygen to muscle tissue through your blood. Low iron equals weak, tired legs. It's that simple. Anemia is incredibly common in seniors, especially women over 65, and it's one of the most overlooked causes of leg weakness. You can have strong bones and adequate protein, but if your blood can't deliver oxygen to your muscles efficiently, they'll feel weak no matter what. Now here's where dried apricots become truly unique. They contain both calcium and vitamin K. Calcium provides about 55 milligrams per serving, and vitamin K works synergistically with calcium to direct it to your bones instead of your arteries. This is crucial because weak bones mean unstable muscles. Your muscles attach to your bones. If your skeleton is fragile, your muscles can't generate force properly. You become prone to falls because your entire musculoskeletal system is compromised. Vitamin K also activates proteins that regulate calcium deposits, preventing arterial calcification that can lead to poor circulation. And poor circulation means less blood flow to leg muscles, which causes weakness and fatigue. But the secret weapon in dried apricots is beta-carotene. Dried apricots have 12 times more beta-carotene than fresh ones. This orange pigment is a powerful antioxidant that protects muscle cells from oxidative damage during movement. Research on postmenopausal women shows that dried apricots slow bone loss and improve muscle recovery times. Why? Because the combination of iron for blood flow, potassium for muscle function, and calcium for bone strength creates a synergistic effect that targets all three root causes of leg weakness simultaneously. Here's exactly what to do. Eat 4 to 5 dried apricots daily, not more, because like dates, they do contain natural sugars, about 53% fructose. The best time to eat them is post-lunch or mid-afternoon. Why? Because the natural sugars provide sustained energy without causing a blood sugar crash, and the minerals will be working in your system during your most active hours. If you exercise or walk, eat your apricots about an hour before activity. The potassium will help prevent cramping during movement. Now here's the critical mistake that cancels out all the benefits. Do not eat sulfur-dried apricots. Commercial apricots are often treated with sulfur dioxide to preserve their bright orange color and extend shelf life. But sulfites can interfere with mineral absorption, and some people develop sensitivity, experiencing headaches or digestive issues. Always buy organic, unsulfured dried apricots. They'll be darker, more brownish orange than neon orange, and that's exactly what you want. One more thing. If you're on blood pressure medication or any diuretic, talk to your doctor before significantly increasing potassium intake. While potassium deficiency is dangerous, too much can be problematic if your kidneys aren't filtering properly. Your doctor may want to monitor your levels with a simple blood test. How to combine all 4 dry fruits for maximum leg strength. Now that you know the top 4 dry fruits, let me give you the exact protocol that combines all of them for maximum leg strength. This is what I call the senior leg strength protocol, and it's based on research into sarcopenia, muscle protein synthesis, and mineral balance in aging adults. Start every morning with your soaked walnuts, 2 to 3 walnuts on an empty stomach, first thing when you wake up. This gives you omega-3s and sets your anti-inflammatory tone for the day. About 30 minutes later, have breakfast. Include your 6 to 8 soaked and peeled almonds, either with your meal or right after. This gives you protein and leucine to stimulate muscle building. Mid-morning, around 10 or 11 a.m., eat 2 to 3 dates if you need an energy boost and you're not diabetic. Pair them with a few nuts to balance the sugar. Post-lunch, around 2 or 3 p.m., eat your 4 to 5 dried apricots. This is when your body will use the potassium most effectively, and the iron will help combat that afternoon energy dip. This protocol gives you approximately 20 to 25 grams of protein from nuts alone, plus a complete spectrum of minerals. You're getting magnesium from dates, walnuts, and almonds for cramp prevention, potassium from apricots for muscle contraction, calcium from almonds and apricots for bone support, iron from apricots for oxygen delivery, omega-3s from walnuts for inflammation control, and all 9 essential amino acids from almonds for muscle building. But here's the deal. Dry fruits alone won't reverse sarcopenia. You also need resistance exercise. Even light body weight exercises, chair squats, leg raises, wall push-ups are essential. Muscle protein synthesis requires 2 triggers, the raw materials from protein and the stimulus from resistance. Think of it like building a house. Dry fruits give you the bricks and mortar, but exercise is the construction crew that actually builds the structure. Studies show that seniors who combine adequate protein intake with resistance training 2 to 3 times per week gain muscle mass and strength even into their 80s and 90s. Also, stay hydrated. Dry fruits are concentrated, meaning they contain very little water. If you eat them without drinking enough, you can actually become dehydrated, which makes cramping worse. Aim for at least 6 to 8 glasses of water daily, more if you're active or in hot weather. A good rule of thumb is if your urine is dark yellow, you're not drinking enough. One final tip. If you have trouble remembering to eat your dry fruits or you find it tedious to soak them every night, try this. Every Sunday, prepare a week's worth. Soak almonds and walnuts overnight Sunday night. Peel them Monday morning and store them in an airtight container in the refrigerator. Portion out your dates and apricots into small containers or bags. 7 servings total. Label them Monday through Sunday. This way, you grab your container each day and you're done. No thinking required. Many seniors tell me their legs feel noticeably stronger within 3 weeks of following this protocol. The cramping usually improves within the first week because the magnesium and potassium replenish quickly. Strength and endurance take a bit longer, usually 4 to 6 weeks, because you're literally rebuilding muscle tissue. But the results are real. You'll notice you can stand longer without fatigue, walk further without your legs feeling heavy, and climb stairs with less effort. Now let's talk about what to avoid, because there are mistakes that can undo all your hard work. First, never buy salted or sweetened dry fruits. Excess sodium interferes with potassium balance and can raise blood pressure. Added sugars spike your blood glucose without providing any nutritional benefit. Always buy raw, unsalted, unsweetened varieties. Second, don't eat dry fruits right before bed. The natural sugars can interfere with sleep quality, and if you have acid reflux, dates and apricots can trigger symptoms when you lie down. Stick to the daytime schedule I outlined. Third, don't go overboard thinking more is better. Dry fruits are calorie-dense. If you eat too many, you'll gain unwanted weight, which puts more stress on weak leg muscles. Stick to the recommended amounts. And finally, listen to your body. If you notice digestive issues, bloating, or discomfort, you might be eating too many too fast. Start with half the recommended amounts and gradually increase over 2 weeks. Your digestive system needs time to adjust, especially if you're not used to high-fiber foods. The bottom line is this. Weak legs in seniors aren't an inevitable part of aging. They're a sign of nutritional deficiency and muscle disuse, both of which are completely reversible. Dried apricots, with their unmatched potassium content, iron, calcium, and beta-carotene, are the single most effective dry fruit for targeting leg weakness. But they work even better when combined with almonds for protein, walnuts for anti-inflammatory omega-3s, and dates for energy and magnesium. This isn't about eating a superfood and hoping for miracles. It's about understanding the science of muscle physiology, knowing which nutrients your aging muscles are starving for, and systematically providing them through concentrated, easy-to-eat foods. Dry fruits give you a massive nutritional advantage because they're shelf-stable, portable, require no cooking, and pack more minerals and protein per bite than almost any other food. If you take one thing from this, let it be this. Start eating 4 to 5 dried apricots every afternoon. Just that one change can make a measurable difference in leg strength and energy levels within weeks. Add in the other 3 dry fruits, follow the timing protocol, combine it with light resistance exercise, and stay hydrated, and you're giving your legs everything they need to rebuild strength, prevent cramping, and support you in staying active and independent for years to come. Your legs carried you through life. Now it's time to give them the nutrition they deserve.